Question number 3 is similar to the previous two questions that we've had. So we're given some of the information about each of these atoms and we want to figure out the rest of the information here. So for the first one, we're looking at beryllium here, and we want to figure out the charge, the mass number, and the atomic number. So really kind of looking at it in an opposite way from what we did previously. So I think the easiest thing to start off with is to fill in the atomic number. So for the atomic number, it's going to be the same as the number of protons. So we can go ahead and write a 4 over here. The mass number, recall, is the number of protons plus neutrons. So for that, I'm just going to add together the 4 protons plus the 6 neutrons, and I'm going to get 10. And then the charge is putting together the protons minus the electrons, because the electrons have a negative charge. So when we do that, we're going to get 4 minus 2, and that's going to give us an overall charge of 2, which we could say is 2 positive or 2 plus. When we look at the next one, we don't even know the name of the element, but we can find that information if you remember that the atomic number is something that is unique to an element. So we can see here that we have an atomic number of 48. So what we need to do is we need to get a periodic table, and we need to figure out what element has an atomic number of 48. So here's my periodic table. The box that has 48 in the top is cadmium right here. So this is going to be CD, is going to be the element that we're looking at, so we can fill that in. The 48 is also going to be equal to the number of protons, so we can fill that in. And then again, for the charge, we take the number of protons, which is 48, and we subtract off the number of electrons, which is 46. So this one is also going to come out to a positive 2. And then for the mass number, it's the number of protons, which is 48, plus the number of neutrons, which is 45. So when we put those two together, that is going to equal 93. Okay. If we look at the next one, aluminum, we have the element's name, but we are missing a bit of the other information. So I'm going to go to the periodic table, I'm going to find aluminum, and I'm going to first find out what the atomic number is. So here's my periodic table. Aluminum is over here, number 13. So with that information, I can fill in 13 as the atomic number. That would also be the same number as the number of protons. To fill in the rest of it, we have to work a little bit backwards. We know that the mass number is 28, and we know that that's going to be equal to the number of protons, which is 13, plus the number of neutrons. So we're going to solve for n. And when you solve for n will equal 15. So that's my number of neutrons. And then for the number of electrons, we have a charge, which is positive 3, and that's going to be equal to the number of protons minus the electrons. So in this case, when we solve for E is going to be equal to 10. Okay, so we have 10 electrons. When we look at the next one, argon. Argon has 18 protons, which also means it has an atomic number of 18. We can fill in the number of electrons if we look at the charge here. If we know that the charge is equal to the number of protons minus the electrons, and we have a charge of 0, well then that means that the number of electrons and protons are going to be equal to each other. So we can put 18 here, and then for the mass number, again, it's the number of protons, which is 18, plus the number of neutrons, which is 19, and then we add the two together and we're going to get 37 there. Okay. For the next one, we have another one where we don't know the name of the element, so we're going to take the information that we have and figure that out. If we look here, we have 35 protons, so I'm going to look at the periodic table and I'm going to find which symbol has 35 protons, and that's going to be over here, it's going to be bromine. So Br is my element. We can also fill in 35 for the atomic number here. And then if we look at the rest of it, to figure out the number of neutrons, I'm going to use the fact that my mass number is 75, and that's going to be the number of protons plus the neutrons. Solve for n. That means n is going to be equal to 40. To figure out the charge of bromine, all that I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up. X is going to be equal to my charge, which is not known at the moment, and that is set equal to the number of protons, which is 35, minus the number of electrons, which is 36. So when we solve that, x, or the charge, is going to be equal to -1. So I'm going to fill that in up here. And then for the last one, we're looking at silicon. So if we go back to our periodic table and we locate silicon on here, we can see that silicon has an atomic number of 14. So when we come back over here, we can fill in the 14 for our atomic number. We can also fill it in for our number of protons. The charge, again, if I write it over here, the charge is equal to the number of protons, which is 14, minus the number of electrons, which is 14. So in this case, this is going to be a neutral one. The charge is going to be 0. And then the mass number is always the number of protons plus the number of neutrons, which is going to give us 27.